Believe it or not, this is Jim.
I'm Rhenda.
With Hardiness Approach.
And we are ready.
We're live.
We are live and ready. And
so it's Wednesday. It's 6 o'clock here in Central Standard Time.
Oops, I better turn this sound down. So we only have one sound going. And
a little bit of delay there. That's interesting.
How about if we move that on the other side? Oh, move it up there.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get this right eventually. Correct?
Now I can look at them and kind of look at this too.
We're ready for this, right?
We are.
We've got good internet. We've got the computer up here and going. So
we even
can
have notes.
Chat, and we even know what we're going to talk about. Hopefully we get to talk about all of it.
So, hello, Pinky Bless, Texas in the house. Right.
Oh, okay.
Very good. We are, is everybody warm and nice for this?
We are.
Toasty
it's a
summer?
hot time in the old town tonight. Willow Creek. Wow.
Hey, we feel blessed, Willow Creek. We were so jealous of you getting to spend a whole week with Holler Homestead. That must have been a blast. Okay. So, hello, Kathy.
Give an overview of what we're going to do?
I'm going to grab my notes. So
really she's looking for her notes. We'll get there.
Okay. So one thing we're going to talk about is how to keep the animals cool in the summer.
In the hot.
And we'll take all your hotness and everything.
It's kind of an issue right now for those of us animals, right?
Trish says, oh my heck, we love the hollers. Yeah, they're pretty fun. And then also...
Oh, hi, Jonah.
Oh, Jonah. Okay. We want to talk about where you get organic feed. We're about to pull our hair out. We're getting organic feed, but we keep getting the wrong stuff. Meaning,
we ask for the right stuff, and they look at us like they understand what we're saying, and they say yes, and then we get home and open it, and it's not what we.
So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about where you guys shop for your organic food and how you get it, how you're able to eat properly, and then a little bit about how great it is to be here on the homestead, retiring to the farm. It's the best. And we have so many friends our age, we're shocked, that are doing the same thing.
Lots of people. Can I do an advertisement first?
Hey, my sister's on here.
Gina?
Holy moly. Hello, Gina.
I thought she's at work.
She in the morning.
I thought she worked till 3.
No, it's only, yeah, but they're only 2 hours.
Oh,
whatever. Anyway,
cool. Gina's here.
She lives in Farmington, New Mexico. So.
My advertisement. Can I do my advertisement?
Do your advertisement.
So some of you were surprised today when you saw a live this morning of Rhenda and I exercising.
On Regenerate, Don't Degenerate.
Those of you who have multiple channels and you use it on your phone, you know you can select one or the other. I forgot that the last time I used my phone, it was looking at Hardiness Approach instead of Regenerate. So I just start broadcasting. I didn't even look. And a little bit later, Rhenda says, did you make a copy of that video and put it on Hardiness Approach? I said,
because you're getting lots of views. You're getting way more views than you normally get. And he goes, oops. So he thought maybe we just put it on once a week.
So those of you on Hardiness Approach, you got a taste of what Regenerate, Don't Degenerate does. And for those of you who liked it, come on over. Every day we're there live, so it's something you can enjoy. In fact, I may do an occasional video that I put onto Hardiness Approach with exercise. In fact, I know we have one. Well, that's my advertisement for Regenerate, Don't Degenerate. I like the extra attention. I needed it today.
Okay, so Marianne says it's a really good subject because she lost some chickens last year due to too many 110-degree days.
Yeah, and it's for people like Marianne who have, I mean, we lived in southern Utah for a while. We had some of those 110
We had 111 in Oregon last year.
Yeah, we did. And it makes for a challenge when you have animals, livestock, because that is stressful to them, unbelievably stressful. If it doesn't kill them, it's definitely going to slow down whatever it is you want them to do. It's hard on them, really hard.
Kathy exercised today because you slipped that in there.
Good for you, Kathy. That's great.
88 where Willow Creek is.
So
That's not too bad.
yeah,
We're at 90.
88's like nighttime temperatures. But
92 today, I think. We were
Yeah.
95 yesterday.
yeah, no,
Now 3 degrees is way
we
different.
get down into the 70s at night here, which is great. But I
Low
know
70s.
in places like Sacramento, where Marianne is, and then down further south, especially like Arizona, you know, getting down to 100 this time of year at night just doesn't happen. It's usually hotter than that. So there's no reprieve. It's hot, like hair dryer in the face hot during the day, and then at
That's
night
what Linda said today.
it cools off to where it's just really hot. And that's hard for the animals because there's no reprieve for them. They're
50s
just
at
hot all the
night in
time.
Idaho. Okay.
So-
yes, but I remember your winter.
Yeah. Some of the things that we've done, obviously they need shade, they need lots of water. And we even put, for our chickens, which, you know, normally don't like to get wet, but we put like a little mister. Spray. So it cooled the air down somewhat for them, and it helped. But they get not a lot of activity going on. But you can't let them go dry. They have to have plenty of water that's accessible to them. And you need to control the water temperature. You know, you may need to change it out. We've dealt mostly with chickens, but with larger animals, it's still the same issue. I know here locally, as we drive around, we see a lot of the cows get right out into the ponds.
They are going into the pond and contaminating the ponds.
To their ribs there. I mean, they're way up deep trying to cool off in that water.
Pooping and a playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Green Gables sent us a message on Facebook on some ways to cool down. So
Okay.
I'm trying to get into that right now.
Okay.
Winters are harsh in Idaho. Yeah. But you can always add more clothes. You know, I lived in Arizona and I always said I hated the heat and I could always get warmer if I was cold. And I totally agree with you on that. You can't talk us out of Missouri though. We love it here. We know there's bad things every single place, and we are only finding the good here.
So I saw one comment about hosing the pigs down, and they like that. Just
spraying
squirt them down.
So
That
we're
makes
getting
sense.
pigs in another week and a half. So
Yeah, they're gonna wanna run through the sprinkler.
So we'll
in the
dig a
afternoons.
hole and spray them.
Yeah.
Give them plenty of cool mud.
You know, I know at the auction barn, that's what they were doing. They had water dripping down on the pigs, and they were like right in it, just enjoying that because it was hot last Saturday. You're reading, right?
I
To get
am
more
reading.
input.
Kathy, they had beautiful 80s today and
Wow,
Southwest Wisconsin,
Ah, nice.
but expecting humidity this weekend. Marianne says it really surprised us since we have had chickens for years and never lost a chicken to the heat. You can tell when your chickens are really hot because they're just panting and it's just.
Well, yeah, their mouth is open and they kind of get their wings out just a little bit away from their body so they can be reducing that heat. It's tough for them. They do a lot to try to compensate. But, you know, there are breeds that handle the heat or handle the cold better. So if you typically have a lot of that kind of weather, it's a good idea to look for those kinds of breeds. I mean, that's, you know, ounce of prevention is.
Willow Creek wants to know how far we are from Independence. We are about 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's where my niece lives.
Yep.
Who's coming to visit in a week.
Yes.
And he said pigs do really well with misters.
Okay,
So.
good to know. Chickens are a tough one because they really shouldn't get wet, although we found when we were in Oregon, our chickens got tired of it raining so much, they just go out in the rain. And even in the cold part of the year, and we were concerned, but it was never a problem for them. I mean, if it was really bad, they would get in under, but if it was just like, you know, the typical Oregon rain, this kind of really light, misty stuff, they were out there. It brought out the bugs. They were excited about that. They were out in it.
Well, we've got our baby chicks in the garage right now, and I think it's way too hot for them. So
It's cooler in there than if they were sitting out in the sun.
kind of,
but-
you know, a little stinky, smell like chickens. I keep adding stuff, and I really don't want them in the house. But we're going to be gone for 3 days. We're going to be here in
At
the morning
night.
and nights. But we're going to an elderberry workshop for
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So we're
And
trying to get,
so-
hopefully all the chickens are situated so they can make it through
Yeah,
the day.
but
without us right here.
we'll probably move them in to the
The
kitchen.
chicks?
Yeah, move them in the kitchen while we're gone. Got to take care of these babies. Come on.
You're right. You're right. We got to.
Okay, so anybody can keep talking about that subject.
So, you can filter other ideas in. We can put those into blogs, maybe even into newsletters to share with everyone, because there have been a lot of tactics used to be successful. I know what we did is it didn't work. I think it worked for ducks, didn't work for the chickens, but we try to have like a large pan, a sheet pan big, of water for the chickens so they could put their feet in, because even on the ground it was really hot. They didn't seem to like that. They didn't like the mud,
Chickens don't like water.
All of our efforts to try to help them keep cool, they really rejected. The only thing we could really do was have some shade and hopefully get something going over us. get a little bit of breeze blowing, keep the air moving. And that's probably one of the best tactics.
Helicopter.
Is to get some airflow, to move that air away from them. Because that can help them cool down with the air blowing over their feathers to pull the heat away from them.
Trampoline covers block the heat.
Ooh, good idea.
We are fresh out of trampolines.
Yeah.
But if we had kids, we could do that.
But there are a lot of materials that you can use for that. So I know some of the materials we have for the garden, like we have some of that white. It's not plastic, but it's a cloth that is a
shade
row
cloth.
cover. It's a shade cloth, and so being white, it's going to reflect the heat, not pull it in, but it also is going to cut down on the sun. So although we might consider.
Oh, they got one for free in the classifieds, they said.
Oh, there's an idea. Look at the classifieds. Look at Craigslist. Look at.
I've seen several trampolines made into chicken yards where they net them. They put all the chicken wire around them.
Around it.
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great. So Green Gables says, don't put it in the kitchen. So maybe we'll put a fan out in the garage.
That's probably a good idea. Keep the air moving out there.
We'll just keep the air moving over them.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I love it. This person answered on our vlog, and she says, I'm 81 this week and I have 3 raised beds. Yes. We are loving our older friends with us. It's great. We want to talk a little bit about where you get your food. We have discovered we live in a town of 10,000, and then we have 150,000 a half hour away. So we can get most anything we want. But we have discovered that we have been able to buy all of our organic vegetables and fruit either at Aldi's, thanks to my niece for sending me to Aldi's. I had no idea they had organic. And our several farmers markets and local farmers. We're getting our milk, our eggs. Hey, we don't have to buy eggs anymore.
Yeah,
our chickens are going. It's wonderful. And so we're just wondering where y'all get your food. Are you having a good time, easy time being able to find and resource all of your organic food so that you're able to eat real food?
Or at least clean food that's not been ultra processed and where it's from. One of our experiences has been, and I know this is repeated so often by other people, is you go to the farmer's market and you ask, where's this meat from? And a lot of times the indication is, it's from a grass-fed cow. Well, if you really probe into it, you find that this was fed who knows what. And it's not really what you're thinking it is. And quite often, this isn't even going to be the farmer that's selling it. It's somebody else that's doing it. So you really don't get a chance to look the farmer in the eye and feel comfortable that it's fed right. And we've mentioned it before, sometimes as we've asked the questions, we've come to understand that the food is not handled properly. It's not grown properly, whether it's meat or vegetables or fruits. And so you're not, even though, it's questionable that it's any better than what you're going to get at the supermarket. So you've got to not just find those good sources, but be sure that the sources are handling it correctly.
So, hello, Renee, welcome. And Green Gables says that they belong to a co-op, food co-op. And we've been surprised. We'll just go to the Tractor Supply and there was a farmer's market there. And we're like, what is this? And
this is Green Gables, seen that?
Uh-huh.
Could you share with us whether it's, on here or on email or whatever, a little more details about your food co-op? Because those that we're seeing seem like a really great idea. I think
Really
they need
good.
developed a lot better so that there's more. And so, if you've succeeded in doing that, how did you do it? What does it look like? Because that's the type of thing that needs to happen here locally. We're not going to be able to raise everything that we want. And if we can find some folks to cooperate with and have trusted sources, it would be helpful for us as well as everybody else who participates. So, what's your secrets? That's what we'd like to know. I mean, that would be great to know. Those are a great idea.
Willow Creek says Green Gables, I miss that so much. We don't have that available in our area. And like I say, we went to the Tractor Supply just to get something, and there was a little trailer thing out there, and I walked over and there was fresh strawberries and fresh tomatoes and fresh everything. I says, what is this? Another farmer's market. And she said, this is a co-op where if you have vegetables, you can bring them here to sell them. So that was a co-op, Jim.
Yes, it is a co-op. It is. What they didn't know is the how the food had been grown. They just knew that. They knew nothing about it.
People don't worry about that.
They don't ask the questions. And I think that's how we all need to get tuned in, is to ask the questions is, did you use pesticides on this? What kind of a plant? Was this a heritage seed, or is this some kind of GMO seed that you planted and you didn't realize it was? And what did you use to fertilize this? And in the case of animals, the same type of questions. What were they being fed? And how are you keeping them? Is it a clean environment that you're keeping them in? Are they healthy? And in the case of meat, was this treated humanely all the way to the end?
So we had an interesting experience today. I got a phone call saying, we're ready to bring your meat over. And I'm like, meat? I didn't know we were getting meat. And it was from the sellers who sold us the property. And they also are at our church. And we had their cow and their bull on our property. And so we know how it was raised. We know what it ate. And we have some in our freezer now.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, this is the
food.
bull that had been knocking down posts, and
it was
tore
all
their,
made into hamburger.
Their electric, they had new electric installed up at one part of the property that's over there, and the bull had just, rubbing itself, just wiped everything out. So now it's hamburger.
Yep, and we get to, and we know it was grass fed.
Yeah,
completely, no grain at all.
It had.
So I wanted to say hi to Christine Betts, hi to Sarah Jane, and thank you, Renee, for your comment. Hello, Janet. And Marianne wanted to, she wanted to make sure that we knew that it was the temperature of the chicken that was 109, not the weather. I think they said that. I don't know.
What does that mean?
Let me go down.
Okay.
Let me pull this down.
You got me lost.
Wait. Oh, there we go. Body temperature is 109. That's what she says.
Okay.
Marianne also says,
I have to admit, I've never taken a chicken's temperature.
Marianne, did you take his temperature?
Is it in the mouth, in the ear, or? Sorry. You can just do those little guns now, right?
Marianne says they have a co-op with organic vegetables and good meats.
Ah.
And Renee Turner, first time. Welcome, Renee.
I just saw somebody said good day. I'm thinking we have an Aussie on here.
We have several Aussies that follow us. And have you guys always eaten clean, or is this a lifestyle new to you? We've done it for 10 years.
Not perfectly, but as we've attempted as best we could.
We did it perfect for 3 years, and we struggled while we lived with other people and in and out. And now we're very firm with it again.
And that's why we're here, so that we can.
That's why we're doing the
grow
homestead.
Everything possible for ourselves. Plus, our goal is to get to where we're growing everything that our animals eat. That's going to be ideal when we get there, so that we know that what's going into the eggs, what's going into the meat is clean, proper food.
This young man spent 3 days in a cardiac unit, heart was fine, but it scared us to death. So that's when we changed things.
Woke us up.
So
This is, you
that
know,
was 10 years
we
ago
can't
this
just go along
August.
thinking we're doing okay, because we aren't.
Okay. Starvin' Marvin. All I eat is TV dinners and fast food, and I feel like crap. Well, yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Come over here and we'll help you. Wow. Yeah. That's about the way my dad ate.
Yeah.
It is the way my dad ate.
Yeah,
And he died very young. He died 2 years younger than I am right now.
Well, I'm glad you recognize that there's a connection between the two, because there is. And I know that there's a lot of circumstance that goes on, and it's tough, but man, find a way to decrease the amount of that junk stuff and eat some real food. It'll change your outlook on life, I tell you.
Okay, so Gina, my sister, says, our Tractor Supply has poultry sales of live animals for locals to buy and sell in the parking lot on set dates and times. It is fun, like a farmer's market with animals. How cool is that?
Well, that's awesome.
I like that idea. Oh, yes, Tiara. Good day to you. We're happy to have you here.
So I just saw one that he's trying to garden this year bigger than last year. So yeah, that's what it takes. You know, doing what you can and learning and making it more. And
so Willow Creek, you guys don't have a greenhouse yet, right? That was our problem in Utah. We didn't have one either. And
although we found a few things, even, you know, of course, we're a lot further south than you, but during the winter,
we were 30 below in the winter.
We got pretty cold. You know, there was a stretch we didn't get above zero for like 10 days. But even during that, we had just some plastic row covers over some spinach. Oh. And obviously we couldn't harvest it during that time, but it was still alive as it warmed up in the spring, and it was growing. As soon as the weather would get warm enough, it was up and going. So it's amazing what you can do.
Starvin' Marvin is a flight attendant. That's why he eats the way he does. He can't have a garden anymore. So he needs to fly into places, and we all need to meet him there and give him good food. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that can be a rough one. That can be really hard when you have a work situation that you just don't have the options. You don't have the time and the locality to be able to do it. Although, you know, one thing I've noticed, I haven't been in every airport, but in the Portland airport and in the Denver airport, we noticed
and Utah
that there at least were some of the vendors selling food there who were claiming it was organic and
I mean, you at least had an option other than McDonald's. I mean, really good option.
I mean, it was far better than the fast food places and some of the other foods. I'm sure that they didn't source it all perfectly, but it was a big leap in the right direction. So, you know, look for those. The challenge that you're always going to find, even when you're producing your own food, is that it's going to cost more. It's just the nature of it. But you know what it comes down to: do you pay more for your food, or do you pay more for your health care? And that's the bottom line. What you seeing?
Oh, Brenda's on. Brenda has been writing us books. Brenda's the one from New York.
Okay.
So we admire you, Brenda, for all of the everything that you've been
south
doing.
Of Buffalo, over in that area. Okay.
Beautiful
part of the country. I really love that part of the country.
So Willow Creek says their growing season is so short. Moving to Idaho, it shortened the growing season even more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the reasons that drove us a little further south is, you know, we made that a criteria, at least 180 days.
A lot of people said move to Idaho, and we're like, no, we've been watching Willow Creek.
Yeah, it's just
Trish is cold.
Yeah, it's that, you know, for us it was an option, so we took it as an option, and we'll see how it goes. But so far, it's pretty impressive what we've been able to do, what we're going to be able to do.
So, Brenda says they just had a huge thunderstorm, so all their computers were off. Hey, you could bring that storm down here because we.
Speaking of thunderstorms and computers being off, we don't know. Nobody else in town is having the problem, but out this direction. We need to call the electric company to find out why, but our electric kept dropping off a couple times a day. It still does. So we bought a UPS because I've got to be able
Honey,
to work.
I wouldn't know what a UPS was.
A battery backup for our computers. So when the electricity turns off, the computers stay running for several minutes. And these aren't usually more than like 10 seconds or so, but it was enough to make the computer reboot. So a couple times a day, computer in the middle of who knows what shuts off. And then I've got to wait a few minutes for it to come back. And that just didn't work for work.
So
that was our compensation.
Yep.
And it worked.
It was.
Hadn't been a problem.
So I would just like to take a couple of moments and tell about how incredibly happy we are. I write about it in the newsletter about the contentment that we feel with the routine in our life. And we really, I guess we've waited forever for just routine. And we have it. And it's so great. It's like, I mean, do you agree?
I do agree. You know, we're not in a total rhythm yet. But
getting there.
I mean, we're adding animals, adding more things on, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. We can see that routine, this ongoing daily, weekly, monthly, annual rhythm that's there. It feels good to know that tomorrow here's this set of things that we can expect with very few surprises, and there'll be surprises.
Oh,
but not
no.
the big bumps, you know, the crazy stuff that sometimes goes on, and it's contentment.
And we're very happy that Willow Creek loves Idaho. You need to love where you live.
You got to.
Absolutely. Janet says she can see it in our faces.
Good.
Let's see.
You're
Okay.
kind of quiet.
Let me just read this.
Okay.
Where were you visiting around here? Oh, we actually had just made it to the corner when we went up to upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Yeah, it was. I don't even remember the towns, but we'd gone up.
It's just
from the corner of. Well, it wasn't. I mean, we was over from Erie.
Yeah, it was east of Erie.
Like straight up from
ways.
Pittsburgh.
I mean, we weren't far. What is that, 79 that goes south?
Yeah.
So we were like 15, 20 miles about that east of 79 and back up just a few miles in. We weren't
I
too
thought you
far.
would find it funny that my Navy daughter and son were also stationed in Biloxi. Ooh.
Yeah, I feel
so
for 'em.
sorry. Didn't routine is good. Willow Creek says possibly a morbid question. What? Missing that one. Hello, Austin. If we get the good places to eat, if we all get the good places to eat to them, it might help Starvin' Marvin and everyone else. So remember, we are collecting good farm to fork places across the nation that you've eaten at, that you know what the costs are. You can send it to us at Rhenda at hardinessapproach.com. And next week,
reminder that she needs to create the list so Jim has it to put into that page.
I have created it.
Have you given it to me?
No.
Oh, okay. Whew, I didn't think I'd seen it.
Anyway, we're making this list and we've got a lot of great responses so that we can put it on the web page, and then anyone can go there when they're traveling and know where to stop, where they can get really good, clean food going across the country.
As far as what we will have found out from everybody.
So,
but it's a living list we can add to it as time goes forward. So
goodbye, Tiara. Thank you so much for coming. And she says, morning here in Oz, winter here. It's winter down there.
Yeah, well, you're not worried about heat down there right now, but your time will come.
73 today. Thanks for everything. Oh my goodness. Her hubby was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago and refused conventional treatment, changed the style, and the cancer nodes are gone. Lifestyle.
You know, it's not the cure for everything, but I think it's a cure for most everything. That's certainly what it seems like.
Okay.
Makes it more comfortable at the very least.
So I'm going to read a couple
Do we
more.
have one more topic?
We had one more topic, but it's closing time.
Oh, okay.
So we only do it a half hour because we don't like to bore people. Pinky says that we would need to retire to there begs the question, what do you do if one of you goes to heaven first? Well, we ask that a lot. We always ask, what would we do if one of us passed away?
You know, that was one of our criteria is if we choose a place and one of us passes away, what is the other one going to do? And if the answer is go somewhere else, then that's not the right choice. We need to find a place that I'll stay right there.
And so
go.
We aren't way stuck out in the country here. If we're in the front yard, if we go to the backyard, we have 10 acres back there and a creek and lots of trees. Over those trees is town, but we are out of town. So we are right there.
It's like ideal. I mean, this is not something everybody gets to do.
Perfect for us. Perfect. But we have already got such a network of friends with the church and with
the
neighborhood that I would feel very comfortable in staying here. And that was absolutely one of our criteria. That's why we didn't go out in the middle of nowhere, because I'm not comfortable doing that. We've done that before.
Yeah.
And so this we're comfortable with.
Plus, what we're going to do is with this network of friends and neighbors, we're going to continue to build that and do what we can to make it even closer knit. Things like the co-ops, is something that we're going to look at doing.
That's why community is such an important part of homesteading. I think it was Fausch family up in Idaho who said for the first year, they just stayed to themselves.
I thought it was more than the first year.
At least the first year.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything with community, and they found that was their biggest mistake. So we had friends coming over soon. And Quint, if you're watching this, we need you to come over here, not this week because we're gone, but next week and talk to us about planning permaculture with him.
I'm ready.
He keeps wanting to call you and he keeps forgetting.
Well, he doesn't keep forgetting. We keep being busy, but it's time to start making some plans.
He's a wonderful young man who came and knocked on our door and asked if he could help.
We have a more clear idea of the overall that we want to do. And so it's time to start tying it together. So
I wanted to tell you that I think I found a lead via a farmer's market for her feed. That's good. One person said that they have pasture-raised pigs, non-GMO feed. So hoping to get that. I was trying to help her get feed
cool.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And
you got to ask her, and there's got to be other people who are interested in the same things. So have found it. Have the answers.
Donna's having trouble getting sugar out of her diet. Yes, because it's an addictive. It's a stimulant. It's a stimulant. And so just wean yourself down. I'll start talking about sugar more next week and how to do that.
Yeah, it's one thing to go cold turkey on processed foods, but to go cold turkey on sugar, your body is going to complain huge. I mean, it's like cocaine. If you were addicted to cocaine and you try to give it up, it's going to be hard, really hard, impossible for some people. Sugar is in that category.
Willow Creek wants to know, do we have a dream animal that would love to have someday? Maybe something not feasible right now. Yes. I want miniature donkeys.
Miniature donkeys?
Yes, that's what Lois has. Miniature donkeys.
Miniature is like how high?
I don't know, but she says they take care of the coyotes. She hasn't
Really?
lost any animals. That's what I want. And we have the corrals, we have the grass, we have everything we need. The barns, everything. That's what I want.
Miniature donkeys. It's good to know.
You knew.
I knew donkeys. I didn't know miniature.
Oh yeah, hers are miniature. So that's what I want. Brenda says that she thinks about that question all the time about who's, if your husband goes first or whatever. So I'm sure Brenda does.
Along with that is the question of what are your kids going to do, or whomever would be concerned about it. Are they going to be heavy-handed on what they do? I mean, having worked in independent living, we saw a lot of stories where something would happen. And some of them were okay, and some of them were pretty sad stories of how people were totally uprooted at a time when they really didn't want to be uprooted, and they weren't given the choices. Um, so we are doing everything we can to have the right place, have it set up, have it be comfortable, and then live in such a way that we don't get sick and we don't have the problems that take us surprisingly early, to where we have to be apart like that. So that's what we're working toward. That's our ambition, and we're going to do the best we can, because I don't want to put our children in the position to make those kinds of decisions for us. I don't want them to have to. I want us to be able to stay here until we're carried out.
Susan says she had a friend who had miniature donkeys and they loved them. All right, it's time for us to go. We have had a delightful time with you all today. Thank you so much for joining us. And this will be the blog for tomorrow. So there will not be another blog that comes out until Friday morning. So we thank you. And if you have not subscribed to our newsletter, please go to hardinessapproach.com. Newsletters come out every Friday morning. And right now, especially while we're doing the 30-day Jumpstart for good health, we are adding some information in there that will just be in the newsletter. This coming Friday, we will be talking a lot about hypoglycemia, because I've had some requests for that. So.
And for those of you who have had trouble receiving the newsletters, I guess some of them have come in blank. I think I understand why they were, and I've made the change that shouldn't happen anymore. It should not have been happening.
Bye-bye.